Hello, greetings, good morning, good evening. I don't know, I guess it depends where you live. So I wanted to talk about some ideas to help you with soil and growing a garden. And these are things that I practice myself and um, are proven. We're supposed to respect and give back to the earth, right? We can grow a garden for next to nothing. Look, where I live now, when I moved in this little apartment, I had crabgrass growing outside in my front lawn. And last year, when I moved in, I couldn't even get one watermelon to grow. It grew halfway and died. And the other fruits, the tomatoes, they didn't taste so good. So all winter, and ever since I moved in, I've been composting. And the way I do this is I just dig holes, like little graves, for all my scraps, everything that's compost, you know, any kind of food, vegetable, even meat or bones, anything. And I keep digging these holes and filling them up with the compost and then cover them with dirt and then dig another hole next to, just keep moving. And it only takes, I guess in the summertime, it all depends how warm it is. In the summer, it takes about 6 weeks for it to turn into dirt and worms. Really good soil boost. Well, anyway, I was doing this all winter. I planted in the one section, had no problems. Everything just started growing. And while I was planting there, I was digging up my lawn because it was all crabgrass. So I pretty much turned my whole front little yard into a garden. I have a very small yard, and I planted watermelon, cucumber. I just threw a bunch of seeds out there, but really things just start growing from the compost. Whatever I've eaten, when you turn the soil over, those seeds just start growing. And I have this new fruit this year. I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe it was going to be watermelon or the cucumber, but when it started to grow, it didn't look like that. It actually has three different size and colored gourds or melons. And I did a little bit of searching before I discovered these are called fig leaf melons, or they have many names: shark fin gourds, 7-year gourds, many other names. What's interesting about them is a vine grows up to 15 feet long and can produce 50 melons. Wow. And these things just started growing in my yard. I didn't plant them. My garden exploded. These things are taking over my whole yard. Whoa, I think one's coming inside. These things are crazy. They're breaking into my house. These vines. But these gourds, they last a very long time. Years. They stay preserved. So this would be a very good thing to have in a famine, or on our seventh year. We're supposed to give the lands a rest every 7 years. So this would be a good type of thing to grow in that seventh year, so that way we have extra to last for through the rest year. I wanted to give you some more ideas for compost, because I believe we can make vegetables addicting, and I believe we can preserve them longer simply by what we put in our compost. We know that lemon preserves. We know that tobacco is addicting. So why don't we? Oh, we also know that coffee is a natural bug repellent. So why don't we just bury coffee, tobacco leaves, and lemon peels in our compost. And then when the plant grows out of this compost, it's growing in the decomposition of the oils of these different products. And our plant will be naturally resistant to pests. Our fruits will be addicting because they have some tobacco in them. And there's nothing wrong with having addicting fruits. I mean, for once, let's be addicted to something good. And preserve for a very long time because of the lemon or citrus. And we can apply this to many other things then. But there you go, farmers. Instead of being out there spraying these chemicals, sorcery pharmaceuticals, and GMO seeds, you can grow what's natural because God said in Genesis 2, I give you all things that have seeds for food. It has to have seeds. Look, you guys even buy stuff at the stores. You buy seedless organic grapes and seedless organic watermelon. Or seedless, I just bought some oranges because they said organic, but they had no seeds. How is this even possible? Let me look up Genesis here. Was it Genesis 1 or 2? It's Genesis 1:29. And Elohim said, see, I have given you every plant that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it is for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to every creeping creature on earth, in which there is living being, every green plant for food. And it came to be so. And Elohim saw all that he had made, and see, it was very good. And there came to be evening, and there came to be morning the sixth day. So you see, everything that has seeds. And God didn't create things and say, oh, it's almost good. It's almost good, but you know what? I have to create man. I need to create man to improve on my creation. Well, to a certain extent, Father doesn't mind if we create. Of course, he wants to see our creation. That's why he put us here to be co-creators. But when it comes to food and rearranging molecules, you're making these things incomplete and not able to marry together with our cell membranes. We cannot penetrate our cell membranes, and our body does not recognize it as food because it cannot read the code because they've adjusted the code. So leave the plants alone and do what God says, and you won't have problems with bugs or weeds. People don't even give God a chance. They know better as soon as they're born. Little children know more. Well, little children, it says you must become like little children or you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven because, yeah, little children listen. But, man, we reach that certain age where we're a teenager and all of a sudden mankind knows everything. Well, that's our problem. If we would follow the very simple rules that God established, the fundamentals, you know how far we would be right now if we were listening, how far evolved we could be, how many worlds we could have. But we're stuck here in the same pattern, the same cycle on the earth. Keep spinning in circles. We keep doing the same thing. God rescues us, and then we repeat the same thing and turn away and go after false gods again. And we start disobeying, chasing after money again. Don't you think God will bless you with more of everything than you can ever imagine? even beyond your dreams, if you would give him the opportunity and listen. But why would Father do this if we're not listening and following his simple commands? If I'm God and I come visit your house and I see that you have inside of your house something that I said I hate, do you think I'm going to hang out in your home? No, I don't want my spirit in the filthy house. Clean it up and clean up the earth, and God will return. Well, I'm here to help you do that. And I'm here to help understand God's law. And I have many ideas. And we're going to work together as a team. And we're going to have life. So it's a happy ending. But before the happy ending, we have to receive the bitter truth. We have to accept that we are wrong, and that we don't know everything, and then allow God to lead us. And if I'm the person that he's given, show us the way, then I'm sorry that you have to listen to me. But I've been watching the world for my entire life and letting people try everything their way and watching them stumble and fail. And I fear if I just allow this to continue, that they'll continue doing their way until everyone dies, and even the earth. So I have to step in and say, let's try something new. Hello, do you realize this is not working? How many years has it been? So at least let's give God a shot. Let's give following his law a shot. And if it doesn't work, we could always go back to destroying the earth and chasing after paper money and material things. I'm telling you, the material things, the things that God will give you are so much better. Like, how about hovercrafts and jets that can go underwater or in the air or travel at light speed, or autopilot? You don't even have to fly them. Or apartments that stay up in the sky forever, or castles in the sky, or lands that float in the heavens. And how about clothing? Clothing that makes you stronger because it has electromagnetic pulses stimulating your muscles. How about food? Food where you only have to eat a little bit and it's so good. Has so much nourishment that you only need one little bite. You have to eat so much food these days because they think quantity. They make quantity because if they sell more, it's more money. But look, it's not really, because the more of something you have, the less value it has. So they have these huge piles of food, but that has no nutrition, and it's like eating empty shells of air. So I mean, just imagine what we can do. And we're going to compound interest as we begin to clean up. We'll begin to heal, and therefore we'll be able to clean. Our minds will heal. We'll have even better and better ideas the farther we go. Everyone compounding, and it'll increase the healing. And you know what? You won't need health insurance because you'll have health assurance. You won't be sick. We created our own sickness, weakening our own immune system. Your immune system is your angels. I think I talked about parasites in another video. That comes from acidic foods. Even today, they've taken what God said is good and clean foods like the bull and lamb and chicken. These things were clean foods in their season. There's a season for everything. And they've taken them and they fed them so many grains and GMO foods that now parasites are able to survive inside of these animals as well. Not only that, they're depressed and anxious. So we're eating all that. People wonder why they're depressed. Well, besides the fact that they try to make you depressed, because if you have a problem, then they could sell you a cure. So it's a mixture of both. But it all comes from the foundation of what we allow in our city, our gates to the temple. The temples, between the temples is the temple. Our body is the city of Jerusalem. Well, it's supposed to be the city of peace, but we're living in a city of Babylon. It's a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Sodomy, so dummy, and a moron. Babel. Catholics. Oh man, religion. They developed these religions to divide us. Anyway, what was I? Oh, our city. So your skin is the largest organ on your body, your epidermis. So even what you put on your skin can affect your system. Now, the skin is like the walls to the city. But you don't want to break down the walls. I believe that's why God said about tattoos, because we're piercing the walls of our flesh and allowing something in. Also, there's a lot of things like cosmetics and makeup and stuff that they design these things on purpose to harm you. There's absolutely no reason to put things like aluminum and fluoride and stuff and all these other things. Everything that we put on our body should be edible. Our detergent, our laundry detergent should be edible because we're a living, all of us, our whole system is one living cell of many cells. Okay, so I talked about the wall of the city, our gates to the city. The main gate is the mouth. What we put in our mouths goes through our whole system and most directly affects us. But there's other things like the nose. We know, people snort things, and the ears hear things, and the eyes see things, and all these things affect the temple, whether consciously or subconsciously. So we should try something. Try to step away from the world and the filth. You don't have to look at that stuff. And you know what? Even with foods, when we adjust our diets, our taste buds will change. But I'm telling you, when we grow the foods correctly, the foods are going to taste like nothing you've ever had before. They're going to be so good. I'm talking about even meat. Imagine a bull that's fed on herbs and lemongrass. Wow, how delicious. And that'll give you life. But everything has its season as well. What did I even title this video? I hope I'm okay talking about food. I have so many things to say. So what was I saying? Foods, animals. Oh, everything has its season. For example, in the spring, the mommy cow or animals, any animal, they have their children, and that's when the children need the milk. So late spring, or we should say summer, it should be illegal to drink milk because people steal away the baby's cows just so they can sell more milk. And I'd like to say we can maybe have a little bit of milk, but I fear that if I say a little bit, that people will push the boundaries. It's like they don't know where to stop. So that makes it hard on everyone. Let the cows go, let them wander around in the summer, let them have their bull and let them mate naturally. Wow, what is whoever thought of that idea? Hey, dude, you see them cows over there humping? Well, let's let's not let them do that. Instead, let's I don't even know if I don't know if I want to describe what they must have to do to artificially inseminate the animals. Like who, what, why, makes no sense. Okay, anyway, things like milk and cheese, they last longer in the cold, so it just makes sense that they should be eaten through the winter. And that's when you don't have a lot of things that grow in the garden. But guess what? We will have gardens now because now that we have unlimited energy, we can have greenhouses with lights constantly running, automated systems, you know? So everything can change. I don't know if we'll even have to eat animals ever again. It is written that there will be no more death, but that might just be concerning people because God did create clean foods for us, but they're not supposed to be treated the way they are. Things like fish, that's a better summer meat, and of course fruits, and your garden grows more in the summer. Winter would be the time where you would eat your meat and have your cheese and your milk. Really, cheese can go all year because it stays good for months, but that's when you make your cheese in the winter and early spring. Roots, you know, roots are more like a winter food. Things like carrots and beets, uh, potatoes, and onions and stuff. They grow. They'll continue to grow all winter. I know carrots do for sure. Things like even like kale and broccoli, cabbage. These things are like winter crops. We should just eat everything in its season. That's why there's seasons. It kind of gives the seasons their own flavor too. And these things correlate together. It's harmony, melody fits together. So depending where you live in the world, how about instead of transporting the foods from around the world to us, how about we transport ourselves to the foods around the world and we go on these vacations, an eternal vacation. But first, we have to set up the whole world system so that it runs itself. And isn't that what he intended in the beginning? For the world to just run on its own so that way man could spend his time exploring his creation and creating his own things inside of it. It's like this huge canvas that we have to work on. We create our own gardens, but we want to create things so that way they sustain themselves. We don't want to create work for ourselves. I mean, unless you really love doing that, sweating and working nonstop. And some work, yeah, we enjoy creating. I do. And first season, I enjoyed the labor. It was my workout. But now that we're going to have clothing that gives us muscles, we're not going to have to work out anymore and pick things up and put them down for no reason. We could all have bodies with muscles. And, I don't know, I might have to charge something special for this, huh? Because I can't have everyone looking better than me. Well, that can't happen. Look at this face. Well, we have many ideas. I'm only scratching the surface, but I feel like I'm rambling on. So take some of these ideas and lay down and think to yourself. We're supposed to have a day of rest every week, the seventh day. which represents the seventh chakra, which is the blessed day. God said he blessed the seventh day and set it apart from all other days. I don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened. In 325 AD, Constantine changed the day from Sabbath to sun god day because they were sun worshipping, Apollyon worshipping. He was Apollyon, the sun god, the spirit, this Lucifer or Satan wants worship. He steals the worship from God. We should always point to El, the Most High. Have no other gods before me. But instead, we've forgotten about God and his appointed times. And the world follows after the sun, Nimrod, the sun gods. They follow after sun gods' appointed times, which are not written in scripture. Like Christmas, December 25th, Nimrod's birthday. Easter, Ishtar. It's always on a Sunday. It's always Sunday. And they've forgotten the Sabbath is a day of rest. And that's the day where we can lay around. We have our meals prepared. We don't really do too much because anything we do, we don't want to cause work for someone else. So say if you're traveling, then that requires emergency crews to be on standby and police and stuff like this. And, if you go to the beach or something, then that requires a lifeguard to be on duty. So whatever we're going to be doing on the Sabbath, it's not to create work for anyone else because everyone wants to have off. How else do you have a day of rest and peace if there's a bunch of ruckus going on in one corner? We should just give this a shot and try to experience silence and rest, and you'll see your mind will begin to open. Your imagination will work again. You'll be drawing pictures and coming up with ideas, like real ideas. And there's so much detail in everything in the world. We don't always have to run off and go somewhere. Many of us haven't even explored the lands that we live in. And even if we have, we haven't looked closely. Seriously, you could look at a flower from a distance, it's beautiful. But then you look closer, and there's like so many layers of detail in everything. It's just amazing. Yeah, we like the TV and movies and entertainment. That's all good and everything, but we need a healthy dose of balance. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so we're going to restore the day of rest, the seventh day Sabbath. And you'll learn to enjoy it. You'll love it. Just have to give it a chance. The earth doesn't really understand because they've been so busy running around. They don't even know how to sit still. Or it's like I have to be dad. Sit still and be quiet. Go sit in the corner and go think about what you did. Yeah. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's just try something new. Try something new, which was really old, which we were supposed to be following. See what happens. Okay, that's all I have for now. Shalom.